So we have our second caution of the evening here at Texas Motor Speedway. And with us working lap number 54, I would imagine we could see some pit stops. We are well within the window.
I would be very surprised if we didn't. Good opportunity for these guys to make some adjustments on these trucks as they dive down into pit lane.
So all the trucks on the lead lap can and do come into pit lane, and Ron Hornaday leads the parade. Jack Sprague, Dennis Setzer, Stacy Compton right behind. Let's go to Amy East.
That's exactly what Joe Ruttman needed. They're going to remove some tape from the front grille so that he can get a little bit more air and cool down. Dave Burns.
Right side tires for Ron Hornaday, a little tight off the corner. They're having trouble getting him water, and he needs that today. Meanwhile, Dennis Setzer comes in for right side. Jackman Brian Keselowski treated for heat exhaustion earlier today. He's back in, and Dennis Setzer is stuck. He cannot get out for Stacy Compton right in the way. Setzer finally out of here. Compton still working on the right side.
Well, Dave, we have tires going all over the place. One of them sent out into the racetrack by Ron Hornaday as he was coming out of pit lane. The X-side Ford, look at the pit angle. Oh, and he taps the wall on the way out. There's another tire, and then he collects B.A. Wilson. Now it's bouncing around.
Well, what a mess. I mean, Bliss had a horrible time down there. His truck was nose in on the wall. There's another one of those loose tires.
If you pull, but yeah, guys, you're doing a great job, because off to the left, there's the other one against the wall. Dave, bring us up to date.
Well, Marty, we thought when we got here to Texas that everything would be so much better because there was a lot of space to work in the pits. The problem is that it's a very wide pit lane, plenty of room out to the grass, but it's very narrow in terms of the pit boxes. And they're not too small, they're just pretty tight, and that's what happened with most of these guys down here.
Well, and those trucks are not small. Those trucks are big. Now, Hornaday had a great advantage. You can see him wiping his face down in there. He had a great advantage because he was first in, got into his pit box cleanly, and he was about the only guy that did get into his pit box cleanly. The guy that made out like a bandit on that was Andy Houston, who came out in second place.
Let's take a replay on what happened to Mike Bliss. Look at how his angle is in that pit box.
And look at that skid mark. That was from his right front, and then, I mean, he had to spin it around like that to get it out. And then the 85 truck, you can't see that tire, ends up hitting him.
Luckily, it does not go anywhere else except harmlessly down the racetrack. So there is Mike Bliss. Dave, you got more?
Well, the problem, Marty, was that Bliss could never get into his pit stall. Howard Shipwash, the tire carrier for Jack Sprague, went down, and Mike Bliss saw him. Fortunately, he could never get into his pit stall, so that's what took him so long initially.
You mean he actually was down on the ground?
That's right. Shipwash fell, and Bliss, he was in Bliss's way, so Bliss could not enter his pit stall. The thing is, they try to enter, the guys come off the wall ready to get into their pit lane when their truck hits the pit in front of them. And so they were watching the 24 pit. They saw Shipwash go down, and Bliss knew he couldn't drive into his pit.
So what turns out to be a bad break in one sense is very lucky in another. So the worst that happened is that the 99 is back to 17th spot, but no one was injured. Stay with us. We're at round 10 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Pronto Auto Parts 400K at Texas Motor Speedway here at Fort Worth, Texas. And time considerations mean we need to move ahead in our race action. Back at round 10 of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the Pronto Auto Parts 400. Race leader Mike Bliss. Now, he is the only truck on the lead lap that stayed out, Jeremy.
He did stay out to get some track position, and, you know, we've been talking to guys, and not a lot of guys are concerned about left side tire wear, and this might work out for Mike Bliss. Dave, can you help out?
They're hoping so, guys. They hope they can keep this position up there, and I think you might have mentioned before, Jeremy, left side tires, they didn't think was that big a deal down here, and Matt Chambers just told us that they hope with all the problems they're having in the pits down here, they can at least make up their positions now. Now, their fuel window was not increased by all that much by coming in at this point. He said plus or minus 3 laps. So anyway, he decided to stay out at this point. Hopefully it'll work out for Bliss.
Well, the other thing we have to remember is that Mike Bliss had a horrible pit stop. And the first time around, take a look, because he had to avoid a crewman that was down in Jack Sprague's pit. Look at the angle he had. They lost a ton of positions. And he was back, I think, as far as 17th at the point.
And Bliss did a great job to get that truck out of there, just the right amount of wheel spin to get it pointed out. So, yeah, he lost a huge number of positions on that stop and gained them all back on this yellow.
Talk about going the wrong way after 9 races. Mike Bliss has started 6th average and finished 14th. Greg Biffle, his teammate, we were thinking they might be the killer bees. Well, Biffle has averaged a 4th starting position, but has finished 10th. Now, Biffle does have 1 victory. Bliss is still looking for his first. Maybe tonight will be the night. He's on the point right now. He's led here before at Texas. And he's got Ron Hornaday, the king of the restart, right behind him. Right before the green, let's get an update on Stacy Compton. Dave?
Marty, the problems in the pits for Stacy Compton are being magnified now on the track. The vibration that he thought he had in the rear end is a transmission problem, they think now. He's not even sure he's going to be able to get up through the gears at the restart.
He is currently running 16th on this field, and we're about to go back to green flag racing at the end of our 3rd caution here in Texas. The 90 of Lance Norrick is lap traffic on the inside. Here comes Hornaday and the rest of the field. Hornaday looking like he was going to try the outside line. Sprague right behind Hornaday. On board with the 16.
Oh, man, Hornaday hangs Sprague out to dry up on top. And look, what a great move by Ron Hornaday.
There's the battle for the race lead as we have completed lap number 70. Uh-oh, 3 wide, and this time Dave Starr's on the high side. You don't want to be there going into turn number 1. They make it 2 abreast. Starr says, I'll back out a little bit, and the number 2 of Mike Wallace is on the move. He is up to 10th. Remember, Wallace started 27th after a horrible qualifying effort, his worst of the season. And right now, the guy who has been very, very strong. And here we go, a battle for the lead, Ron Hornaday. And yes, he'll be credited with the lead. So that is our 4th lead change amongst 3 different drivers. Right now, I would still not second-guess that team on not changing lefts. Here comes Jay Sauter getting around the 24. And look at the 7 of Brian Repner. Now, he is several laps down, but it looks like they've got that motor singing again.
And look at Jack Sprague falling back. There's Andy Houston on the outside of Biffle. We hear that maybe Sprague brushed the wall on that first lap as Biffle gets into Houston just a little bit, driving down into 1.
Oh, big fire, the 75 of Marty Houston, as he has made strong contact with the wall and has slid down to the infield portion of turn 4. A lot of damage to the 75 Spears Chevrolet. Our 4th caution of the day, and right now Marty is not out of that truck, and the flames are shooting, and quickly the crews get over. And I'm sure Brother Andy is saying, hurry up, guys, get him out. There he is. Best news we can give you, Marty Houston is out of the truck, and it looks like he's going to be okay. The truck is hurt seriously. So we've got our 4th caution of the day. Stay with us. We'll be back to Texas.